All right, now welcome back to TuckerAllen Live. I'm Scott Trout, and again, today it's Friday, and we want to bring you some information with regards to estate planning. And today we're going to bring you something called cryptocurrency. Everybody knows about it. It's been a hot topic for quite a while. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, whatever, you name it. But I never thought about holding cryptocurrency, Kevin, in an estate. Or, let's just say I've got cryptocurrency sitting in an account. When you think about planning, there are specific things you want to be thinking about, right? I guess cryptocurrency is one of those that is very peculiar. I mean, I guess it could be like precious metals, those types of things, but cryptocurrency is so different. And we'll talk about the fluctuation of valuation, all of that stuff. So let's talk about really one of the first things you want to think about when you have cryptocurrency, wherever it may be.
Yep. Yeah. So, in the last 10 years, cryptocurrency has become much more prevalent in our society. So now we have gone to before where it was kind of like, I remember whenever I was in undergrad, 10 years ago or I guess longer, and hearing for the first time about like Bitcoin and thinking this is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, to today. Now there's, people who have made millions and hundreds of millions of dollars off of this, and they want to be able to transfer that wealth to their children or whoever they want it to, just like anyone else would. So it's just very important to figure out, how do we transfer this wealth that's held in cryptocurrency down to the next generation or to whoever they want it to go to.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. It's like my 16-year-old will trade cryptocurrency. He's got $500 and he trades cryptocurrency. And it's funny, I asked him, and there's a bunch of kids in his school. They do it during the day. And, one of the, I guess the teacher saw someone on their phone and like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm trading cryptocurrency. And the teacher's like, well, did you make any money just now? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, okay, no problem. So didn't get in trouble, but it's the latest. So speaking of that, and if you look online, whether, whatever platform you use to trade it, whether it's Coinbase or whatever, there's plenty out there, fluctuation in the currency, I mean, every second, massive fluctuations. And that's a big problem for estate planning, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because on our end of things, it's almost like a stock. Stock prices fluctuate too every day, and they fluctuate every minute of the day while the stock market is open. And then even after, there's after hours trading where they're saying this is what's going to open up at. So there are fluctuations throughout the day, but generally, like with the stock, the fluctuation isn't as great. It's, generally, things don't just fall off a cliff short of there being, like an oil spill that's caused by Chevron or something.
Right.
But there, it just doesn't drop like cryptocurrency can. So it's important for us because we want to know, is this going to be a taxable estate? What sort of tax planning do we need to do? So it's just very important to really keep up to date with how much, what's the most recent trend for this type of cryptocurrency that you own? Is it trending upwards? Is it trending downwards? Because we want to have a general idea of where the money is, what the asset is worth at any given time, just because it is so important for tax planning and just for, that tax. We don't want to be paying more than we have to. So it's a lot to think about, and you kind of got to really keep your thumb on it and pay attention.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Ethereum, for example, in the last 27 days has been up over $1,500 per coin. Crazy. Massive fluctuation. It's up like $157 in the last hour. And so that, if you're just sitting on it, you may be, someone's died and you're the trustee, and now you're not paying attention to what's in the estate. And you've got this whole slew of Ethereum and Bitcoin and Matic and whatever it may be, with significant fluctuations in value, to which you're now responsible for all the beneficiaries. The prudent investor rule. Tell everyone about that.
Yes, so that's incredibly important in this, right? Because the prudent investor rule, what it's saying, and it's out there the Uniform Trust Code is something that many, many states have adopted. Here in Missouri, we have adopted it. What it's saying is that if you are the trustee of a trust, you have a duty to prudently invest the assets of that trust. What that means is that you can't take, we can't just take this cash, we can't take cash and put it in a bank account and just let it sit there for 10 years doing nothing. We have to prudently invest it. And part of prudently investing is kind of a question right now. Is it a prudent investment to put, a significant portion of assets into
Mhm.
Cryptocurrencies, like if that's what they were whenever the grantor, the person who put it into the trust, whenever they passed away, is it still prudent for us to hang on to them? So what we need to do is we just need to carve out our own caveat within the trust and say, hey, prudent investor rule still exists, but with regards to cryptocurrency, it does not. Because we
Yeah.
can do that with other things, right? Because sometimes there's, let's say, a family member used to work for a Ford Motor Company in 1920 or something, and they got 10 stock, 10 shares of stock back then, and now it's been passed down through trust to today, or 100 shares, whatever it may be. But we can create caveats to say, hey, we don't want to sell that because the basis on this is fantastic. We have great basis on this. It's worth a ton of money compared to what it was before. We don't want to sell it. So
Yeah.
they can create separate trusts just to hold those things. So it's kind of similar to that idea.
You think about the security about it, and back
Mm-hmm.
in 2013, I was just looking it up because I remember it was just so shocking. There was a guy who lost the security key, the password, the code. He lost $265 million.
Mm-hmm.
Well, lost. It's still somewhere out there, but he
It's in a
can't find it.
landfill, I think.
Yeah, right. We can't find the key, right? And so he has one attempt left to access his crypto account, and then it's erased, gone.
Yeah.
And he's locked out forever. And that's the thing. Security is also a big one. If you
Mm-hmm.
inherit it, don't lose the key. If you're the trustee, be very careful about it, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, like you're saying, the security is very important. I actually think the story I was just thinking of was a guy accidentally threw away a hard drive. That
Yes,
story.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as a trustee, if you have someone and they pass away and they own a lot of cryptocurrency, like don't throw away any computers. Don't pitch a hard drive. Don't do anything like that. It's very important to hang on to that stuff. And then if you are a person and you're trying to get this cryptocurrency to pass through your trust, you need to be very, one of the great things about cryptocurrency is how secure it is.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But along with that security is it makes it very difficult for a trustee to be able to access that currency. So we need to really figure out a careful way to pass that information along so the trustee can access it without giving them so much information, because just like cash, it's not traceable.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to give them the key right now or put the key in the estate plan somewhere. So we kind of had to work around that and figure out a way to get the key to them at the appropriate time.
And talking about traceability, that was the allure early on of cryptocurrency, was, the fact that it was so difficult to locate, to trace, to find, to track. And that brings up obviously the IRS. And if you've ever been watching the news and some of the IRS talking about cracking down on cryptocurrency, if you've dealt with it in years past, you don't get a tax form from Coinbase or these other platforms that
Mm-mm.
say, here's your trades, here's your gains, and here's your losses. And it still is solely reliant on self-reporting, but you're still going to
Mm-hmm.
get in trouble if you don't, which means there's even a higher level, I think, of record keeping, tracking for a trustee or an individual when it comes into an estate plan to make sure you don't run afoul of the tax rules.
No, absolutely, 100%. We need to have good records. We need to make sure we're hanging on to those records because we want to be able to produce that to the IRS and say, look, we're on the up and up. Everything we're doing is correct here. We don't want to give them any reason to decide, let's go audit this trust and figure out exactly what's going on. So it's very important. And just speaking about like Coinbase, or I think Robinhood now
Mm-hmm.
allows people to, in some fashion or another, trade some cryptocurrencies. Whenever funding cryptocurrency into a trust is still something that's a little bit, it's kind of unknown almost. It's still something that people are working through. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was on the phone with an attorney actually that works at, a huge international law firm. She's done this for 30 years. She's an estate planner. And I was asking her, I was saying, how do you even begin to fund, this into a trust? And so it's still we're still all trying to figure it out. It's nice, like Coinbase allows you to create beneficiary designations
Yeah.
for them. So that's fantastic. And we know, okay, let's make it, transferable to the trust. Whereas like Robinhood, they don't allow, there's no beneficiary designations for them. So we're still trying to work through that process as estate planners of how exactly can we move it from being over here in Coinbase or wherever it may be into a trust.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, oh, here's my cryptocurrency. See it? Yeah, I mean, it's invisible. I mean, that's the thing. It's crazy. We're talking about an asset that has such significant value, but it's not tangible. We
Mhm.
don't see it. We don't feel it. I mean, it's like stocks, I guess, in some respect. But the whole idea and the notion of cryptocurrency, I mean, it gives me a little bit of fear as a trustee. I mean, it's just a higher level of duty almost, and making sure
Yes.
to do it. And I think it emphasizes the whole thing that we've always been talking about is, if you're watching this and the estate, or you have cryptocurrency, it's an opportunity to sit down with your financial planner and your estate planner and making sure you're making the right decisions about what to hold in your trust.
Hmm.
And maybe it's time, maybe you start making a plan to get out of it, or whatever it may be, or instructions about what to do with
Hmm.
the cryptocurrency. It's to be sold or whatever it is. And I think you would agree with kind of getting those two experts together.
Absolutely. I would say if you are someone who has created some wealth for yourself via cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency trading, that yes, you want to come in and speak to an estate planner, an estate planner, a lawyer, and you need to have a good financial planner there all engaged in this, because the nightmare would be, right, is that you create this wealth for yourself via this and you think, okay, I'm going to be able to leave something to my children or whoever it may be, and then you pass away without ever creating a plan, and now it just kind of disappears out into the universe, all this wealth that you've created. So it's incredibly important. You want to come in, speak to a couple of professionals, and create a game plan that works
Yeah.
for your specific situation.
And I think now, as I'm thinking, is listening to you talk about it, is I think a situation like this, not just isolated to cryptocurrency, but perhaps it's emphasized because of its volatility, is that you may have created what you think to be a great plan. But now we have
Hmm.
the Biden administration that wants to get rid of the step, or do a stepped up basis is eliminated. Now you have these massive capital gains. Now you have what's probably on the horizon is a lower threshold for the death tax. So your beneficiaries are getting hammered with what you thought you were going to give, a wonderful legacy. Now, I mean, there's always, there's examples of people holding farmland. They don't even have the money to pay the taxes.
Right.
And so you have to be so careful now with these two big things on the horizon, the stepped up basis and the lower threshold. Now is the time to, whether it's crypto or not, but I think crypto is just a great example, because you could have quite a few shares in Bitcoin or Ethereum,
Hmm.
and over the course of 30 or 60 days, it skyrockets. And now you've just blown through the ceiling of the death tax and not even known it. Unlike a
Hmm.
stock. I mean, it can happen on a stock, but it's certainly more likely to
Yes.
potentially happen in something so volatile with a beta like this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we want to be strategic in our planning always, but I would hope that all of my clients would say that the plans that I'm creating for them are strategic and specific to what's going on with them. But in this sense, we really want to be just
Yeah.
incredibly, incredibly careful, cover all the bases, really sit down and be able to think through everything and make up a good plan here that is going to work.
Yeah. All right, Kevin. Thanks for talking about crypto. It's an
Yeah.
interesting topic, no doubt. So
Yes.
appreciate it today.
Thank you, Scott.
Well as anything, with these new rules that are on the horizon, we know that they're likely to try to get in front of Congress to pass. It's certainly, whether you have crypto or not, it's certainly worth having a conversation to make sure that the plan you may have, that you put into place, that you thought was a comfortable level, where I think it was 11 million for a single, it's now could be substantially lower, and that whole plan may need to be revised. So I encourage you to seek out a consultation with the attorneys at TuckerAllen. You can go to TuckerAllen.com. You can schedule an appointment right there on their website. You don't even have to pick up the phone. You can set something up. Just go through your estate plan. Maybe you don't have one either. Now is the time to get that done. We've talked about the steps you take, whether it be powers of attorney, the will, or the combination of everything. It's just time. A lot is changing. We've got COVID, you've got tax rules changing. It's just a little bit crazy. So it's time to just feel comfort and making sure that the plan that you have to pass your wealth or your things, your stuff, no matter how little or how much you have, is taken care of. So go to TuckerAllen.com. Stay tuned here every Friday at 1 o'clock. We'll bring information just like this to you. So until next Friday, have a great weekend.